We Talk is a production of BFAC On Air.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back
to We Talk.
We Talk. We Talk.
That was so good.
I changed it up a little this
You
time.
did change it
I
up.
did.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Always learning, always growing.
Always doing something
Always
new.
doing something new. Being inspired.
Well, I think that is perfect for Take3.
Thank you.
Because people might think string instruments and think one thing.
Yeah.
But someone along the way has to say, no, a string instrument can do this, or a string performance can feel like this.
Can do anything and can feel like anything and can be so inspiring.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get enough time to talk about, because Take3 is here. They're here tonight at the Batavia Fine Arts Center. But beforehand, they did an outreach with students. Mm-hmm. And I don't think while we were talking to Lindsay from Take3, had enough time to talk about how, she runs around that stage. She jumps. She lunges forward. She's within 3 feet of audience members running up and down. It is a string experience like you have never ever experienced before.
Well, and I think that's the really cool thing right now about this type of music, classical, and just like the merging together of these different genres and sounds, is that right now I think that's becoming more and more popular, and it's bringing people together from these different worlds too, and it's opening up people's ears and eyes and minds to this other type of music that they might not have necessarily even thought or before would be like, oh well, that's boring, but it's not. There's so much exciting stuff that can happen within there.
There really is.
Yeah.
All of these creators and artists, whether it's Bach, and I learned how to say Bach the proper way by listening to Lindsay. All of these artists, they were creators, and they were telling their stories of their time, just like the people who are artists in the music you hear on today. Mm-hmm. We are expressing. We are leaving. Artists leave a landmark behind that is their statement on the world, and to see those mashed together the way Take3 does it's super incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, her energy, you'll see the energy there. You'll see the energy in the show tonight.
Yes. She's got a lot of energy, and I just told Dominic this, but they match energy. They were just bouncing off each other, and I was just here enjoying the experience. It was great. We got to get you an instrument and get you up there too.
I did play an instrument at one time.
Have we talked about this?
I don't think we have. I don't think in all the times that we've talked together that this has ever come up.
Well, that's for another episode, maybe.
Well, I played the French horn.
Maybe I did know this.
But I don't know what it says that when I ran into my former band director after a long period of time, he asked if I still had it and if I turned it into a lamp because it would get better use that way.
Oh, my goodness. That's really funny. Also, one quick thing about the French horn. A nicely timed French horn.
Isn't it beautiful?
Is beautiful and could probably make me fall in love with whoever I'm around at that time.
Yeah.
So
it totally is.
Watch out.
Well, folks, Take3 is at the Batavia Fine Arts Center tonight. That is BataviaFineArtsCenter.org, spelled CENTRE.
Because we're fancy.
It's true. It's true.
We are.
But also accessible and fun and hip and young.
Yeah. And we can be all those things.
You can be all those things, just like you can be Bach and Beyoncé.
That Bach was real good.
Was that real good?
Yeah, it was.
Well, I don't think we should talk on any longer.
Right.
Take a listen here while we talk to Take3. So,
you're screaming at me.
Yes, I'm screaming at you because I'm so excited.
Me too.
But I have energy, but nowhere near the energy that you all have on that stage.
I love you. I love you so much. Thanks for noticing that. If you didn't say that right now, I would be so sad and probably cry.
Well, I cannot have you cry before your show, okay?
That would be terrible.
So I just want to know, I mean, where does this energy come from?
You know, I think I'm ecstatic. When I grew up playing classical music, we had to
And
be
you
in
did,
a yes
for decades.
For many decades,
Yeah.
I was put in this tiny box. And this is a true story. My teacher would build a fortress of chairs around me so that I could not move. It was not allowed to move. You couldn't have facial expression. You couldn't play too fast. You couldn't play too slow. You couldn't do a lot of things with classical music. So now that I'm in charge and I can play whatever I want,
You're the boss.
Yeah, I'm the boss. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be able to jump around and run around and do whatever I want whenever I want. And so that's what you're seeing is just that ecstatic violin playing.
Yeah.
And so much joy. I
Yes.
mean, it's more than just energy. It
Yes.
is, I mean,
And it's like a freedom, I
It
feel
is.
like, too, where you're just like, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. And like, let's get this out here. And it just all comes out in that way. Which is
Jenna
awesome.
has
No.
been listening to your music.
I have.
Okay, so
Oh,
how
yeah.
much have they paid you per hour to have to do that?
Oh my gosh, no. Okay, so first of all, I love all types of music, and I actually originally went to school for music, and so it's just kind of deeply ingrained in me anyway.
I love that.
And so I'm a teacher, and I've been listening. I added it to our playlist a while ago, and so it'll just kind of like come up, and I like to just listen and hear and see what the students will say. And I was just telling Dominic, I'm like, a couple of my students were like, they're listening, they're like, what is this? And I, would keep listening, and then they're like, Miss Carpenter, this is a bop. And I'm like, I know.
Okay, I can retire now. If we are a bop, we have won at life.
Right. Well, and then, and what I found too is that more and more students, and I know sometimes they'll listen to, different types of music when they're studying or whatever, but they'll come in and I'll be like, okay, what are we listening to today? And then they're like, I just found this classical bangers playlist, or I found this. And so I think it's so cool that there's, students and people aren't just listening to just, regular pop or R&B and things, but they're adding all this stuff that combines all these things, and they're getting a taste of the different music through artists like you. And it's just it's so cool. And I love hearing them talk about this because I'm like, yeah.
So we just came out of an outreach with you,
We did.
where you were doing outreach with students, and I was standing in the very back of it, and it is so great when you see students whip out their phones
Yes, I love that moment.
and they start recording it.
Yes.
It's like, they are into this. So it is such a win, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so what's the love that you have for mixing that old and new? And then I heard you talk a lot about how it's more than just the like sound and music that you're hearing that's old and new, because it goes all the way to your instrument being
Exactly.
old and new. Yeah.
So I started playing when I was 5, and my parents would not allow me to play anything besides scales, arpeggios, thirds, Bach, Brahms, Beethoven. And
Were your parents musicians?
Yes.
Okay.
And I am not lying to you. I didn't actually know until fairly recently that you were allowed to do that I could play Bieber and that I could do all these things. And so I went to Juilliard, and I realized, you know what? I have to stay true to my personality. And in classical music, people applaud very kindly. They don't make any sounds, and you can't interact with the audience. God forbid you tell a joke. God forbid you go out into the crowd. That would just be the
you
worst
do.
thing. I
you
do
do.
it now because I'm in charge, right? But none of that's allowed, and I had this overwhelming feeling like I am not living up to my true potential. I'm not able to share the most of my soul. And I created Take3 and decided, you know what? I'm going to remain true to the classical part of myself by including it in this repertoire. And I'm going to play pop music that people love.
I love it.
And being able to connect with the audience on a deeper level that's using all of me is so special, and I'm having the best time.
Such juxtaposition there, right? And And your instrument. How old is the instrument that you're going to be playing with tonight?
Thanks for asking. I thought you'd never ask. It's 1845. It's French.
I'm going to ask all the questions that
Ask
you
all
never
the
thought I
things,
was going to
please.
ask.
I'm so lucky to have this violin, and I wonder, the maker of this violin, Guillaume, I wonder what he would think about it being plugged in and hooked up, and that we're using this modern technology. You know, we're using QLab tonight. We have the video, we have the audio, we have the track, we have the drum tracks. And so I wonder what those composers and that violin maker would have thought about what is happening now. I think they would be ecstatic that it has survived this long, that it's still relevant.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But to remain relevant, you do have to make little subtle changes, and that's all we're doing.
Yes, you have to adjust to make sure that it stays with the heart and the soul of people and society, and otherwise, it's all going to just die. It's just going to be gone. But that's the one thing that is so amazing, is that you're taking this sound that people might think of, and you did such a great applaud impression. I'm going to do a posture impression, where people might think of one thing, but you make it so accessible, and you're saying to the audience, yeah, you can love this. You can love this sound. You can think it's a bop.
Exactly. No, this is the whole reason we got started. In my old career of doing only classical concerti, you know, I came out and I would play the 30-minute concerto. Those audiences are dwindling like you would not believe, and orchestras are struggling, and we have to do something. We need to stand up. We need to move around. We need to make it visually interesting. Yeah. And so I hope that we can let Beethoven and Brahms be still relevant today, and that is in our show tonight. We're playing all that.
Yeah.
We sneak it in there, but it's in there.
Yeah.
And so
it's the basis for music. It's history. It's evolution. How would we have music today if we didn't have all of those things?
We wouldn't have it if we didn't have Bach. All of the chord structures, the reason we're able to do mashups at all is because the chord structures are exactly the same.
Right.
So basically, Take3, we'll find an earworm. We'll be driving and we'll find a pop song that we love. And then we say, okay, we're going to do Texas Hold'em Beyoncé. But then we scour all of the classical music. We find a classical piece that has the same chord structure. Now we have a mashup that we can use. So the old, the new, combining everything. And but we only use pieces the audiences know. So they're going to know the pop and they're going to know the classical. They're going to know everything. So
that has to take an immense amount of collaboration.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what your collaborative process is and how you... I was listening to you in that outreach, and I was hearing this song go into that song, sometimes up to 5 or 6 different songs, all within the same song of Take3. What is that collaborative process like? Who do you work with? What do you do?
So we get to venues early, and we have this idea for the new song, and we will take an hour usually every time that we get to a new venue and bat around.
Eating up that hour
no,
now,
it's okay.
So.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be. We take the time to develop new songs because every season, you know, we've got to come up with 15 new songs, and that does not happen overnight. So the season before, we have a new title. Next year, we're doing Jukebox Rock, the music from the 70s. Yeah. And so we're already figuring out our ABBA and Carpenters medleys. We're going to be incorporating more singing. And I think in this business, when you think about a product and remaining relevant, that is changing so fast with technology.
Right.
So
How
fast.
am I staying on top of this? I feel like I'm grabbing at the ear.
Yeah.
But every day we have to try to remain relevant, and we're constantly changing and constantly improving and figuring out how we can bring more audiences in and take off.
Yeah. All right. So now correct me if I'm wrong, because I may be wrong. I did a little bit of research.
Never.
I need to know if I'm wrong. I'll cut it out if I was totally wrong. Have people possibly heard your playing on Netflix?
Yes.
All right, there we go. I found it. I
You
dug
were
it up.
not
You heard it
wrong.
here, people. Okay, tell us about that. Tell us what I'm talking about.
The one that I love most is The Witcher.
Yeah.
And
the most. So there's more.
Yes,
Start
all
with The
about
Witcher.
Pam,
Yeah. Okay.
The Witcher. I collaborate with Sonia Belasova, a really brilliant composer, and basically everything that she does, she calls me and says, when are you coming to LA? I got a new show, and it's so cool because you can record an entire season in one day. She doesn't even have the rest of the orchestra done yet, but we'll get the violin part done in a day.
Yeah.
And I got to go to Krakow last summer and play the Witcher Concerto for violin and orchestra at the film festival there. So to be able to play this classical music crossover style in film and TV now is so exciting. We're having the best time. And then, of course, that music makes it into the show sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So how long have you known her? Has that been a lifelong friendship? Or?
So it's funny how that started. I was looking for a new pianist for Take 3, and her name kept coming up like 5 times. Oh, the pianist that you want is Sonia. And so I called her and I said, all paths lead to you. I would love to have you play piano in Take 3. Can we get together? And she says, you know what? I don't play the piano anymore. I'm now writing for Netflix, for Hulu, for all the TV things. And she says, but I'm looking for a violinist. Can we get together, have coffee? And it just started this amazing.
Holy cow.
You wouldn't have that, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you fit that into your schedule, because Take 3, how many performances will you have at the end of 2024? And I just mean, I don't mean outside of the year 2024, just in the year 2024. How many different performances will you have?
We're on the road 300 days of the year,
Holy
and
cow.
that consists of 60 land performances and the travel to those. And now, because performing arts centers don't have anything during the summer, we're doing a cool thing. We get on a ship, and we are on there for 7 days. We play one 45-minute set, and then we sail around to Iceland and Egypt and Africa, and we go everywhere. We have been to all corners of the earth on cruise ships every summer. We spend 3 months on cruise ships, and it is such a crazy experience because when you think of cruise ship entertainment, the violin, cello, and piano does not necessarily come to mind. I think flame throwing, I think the magician, anything but violin, cello, and piano. And so I was shocked that anyone hired us, but you would not believe how accessible this is.
Yeah.
You know, they've got a drink. They just came from the casino, and they're loving Take 3. It's just shocking.
Everything's new to them.
Yeah.
Like, what is this world? This is amazing.
Where are we?
Right?
We were just on a iceberg, and now. So, what and where do you want to go from here? What are your dreams? What kind of aspirations do you have for Take 3 next?
That's a hard question. You know,
World
I feel
domination.
like world domination. You know, sometimes you get into this micro state where you're just living day to day. What am I doing tomorrow? How do I get there? What needs to happen? And that's why I have built in time off for us so that I can have 3 weeks and just think about what we need to do to get to that next level. Do we want to get to that next level? What does this entail?
That's a great point, because sometimes we do live in a world of more and more.
We're
I must
always
attain.
striving.
Always striving.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is something nice about loving where
you
are.
Thank you for that. No, so we love where we are because when you grow up and you decide to be a musician, you know that it's a maybe. You know that there's a chance you'll be able to make a full-time living at this, but there's no guarantee. So now we're doing Take 3 full-time. We have already won. We do only Take 3 and we make a full-time living at it. We are winners. And that's all we ever wanted to do, was to be able to play music for a living full-time. So we have that in our soul. We know that we're doing that. If we want to do something different, I mean, what does that entail? We're already busy enough. You know what would be fun? I have panic attacks every fall. And the reason for that is that's booking season. And so in my own mind, you know, we've had 3 or 4 great seasons with Take 3. We're 6 years old. 3 or 4 of the last ones have been full-time. I don't know that once I start from 0%, that next fall we'll get any shows. And I'm the person that's like, you know, we might have 0 shows next year. And so I would love to be able to just feel a calm. And we're also in a place where we have to actively seek it out. Hi.
Yeah.
hi there, we're Take3. We love playing music. Can we come to your venue, please? It would be nice. I guess my dream would be to field phone calls, just to have the phone ringing and to feel a confidence of, you know what? We've done our 60 shows this year and it's going to be fine. We're going to get 60 more next year and it's going to get easier and easier. So that to me is the next step that would just make me feel confident.
Well, knowing what I know and seeing what I've seen, because we're old friends.
We are old friends.
We know that. We met in really face to face for the first time this last September. Yep. Although I've seen bits of your show before. It will get easier and easier because your energy, you're not going to be at 60 for long. You're going to need to start paring that back someday soon.
I believe you. Thank you for saying that. And I'm going to try to really believe this
it's in the universe now.
Yeah, we've put it out there.
It's out there.
At a star. It's like in a comet.
It can't go back in there.
No, it's out. Thank you for that.
I was pointing at my mouth for those of you who were just listening. That's where the back in there was. So
oh my goodness. No, I love it. I'm just like enjoying myself right now.
Thank you. So, you all three of you seem to have a passion for young people as well. And you are these ambassadors of this music, right? So I like to end these podcasts sometimes by asking artists what advice or what can you give to an aspiring artist who is sitting there at 15, 16 years old, 17 years old, or even those who are older and are looking for something new and feel a calling or a passion, and they just feel so overwhelmed. They feel that it's impossible. What do you tell them? What's your advice to those people?
It does feel impossible. I think that the general advice, if there were one thing that I think all humans should keep in their mind, and that is my guiding light, is do what you are passionate about. Follow your internal soul. What do I want to do? What is me? What can I do that's 100% me?
Yeah.
And on stage, same thing. I want to be 100% myself because you know what? Humans can tell. When that audience is there, they know if you're acting or if that is truly you. And so I think that in order to find success, you have to be yourself no matter what that is. And people are, they love the feeling of watching someone in their zone and in their element doing what they were born to do. They love that. They're drawn to that. So, you have to just remain true to yourself.
I think being genuine is much understated at this time. I think in our place in this world, that real essence is a breath of fresh air. Just like you, Lindsay.
I love you. It was so great to meet you a few months back, and you have such a great personality. We came to the venue feeling a little tired, and then we saw you, and it's like, this is gonna be a fun day. This is going to be fun.
We have fun here.
Yeah.
This is a fun place. You can't come here and not have fun.
You can't. You cannot.
He yelled.
Oh, thank you so very much. Thanks you for joining us today. So Take3, if you're listening to this, it's November 22nd at the Batavia Fine Arts Center. The orchestra sold out. Mezzanine sold out.
Hey.
We have some seats in the balcony left. You can buy them at BataviaFineArtsCenter.org. Center is spelled C-E-N-T-R-E because
we're fancy.
That's right. Thank you for joining us today. If it's afterwards, find Take3 somewhere and take a break from whatever you're doing.
Yeah, enjoy it. Listen, just get immersed in that experience and continue on. Find what you love based on what you're hearing right now.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Love you guys. See you tonight.
While we talk to Take3.
We Talk is a production of BFAC On Air.